This is a 2014 Raptor, and these are the stock fender flares that come with it. And today, we're going to replace those with something a little more aggressive. We're going to install these Bushwacker pocket-style fenders. There's a couple reasons I want to put these on. One is because I think they look better, and the other reason is because the offsets on these wheels cause them to stick out quite a bit past the stock fender flare. Here are the new fender flares. Substantially beefier. Let's go over here real quick. Kind of nice. They come all pre-scuffed. In terms of appearance, I got to give the nod to the original here. This is a much higher quality looking plastic, plus it has little sparkles in there, which I totally dig. We'll see once we get them on, but just, yeah, right off the bat, I'd give the win to the OEM flares. Okay, our first step pulling off these factory flares is to pull these clips out. And there's 5 of those around the inside. So we're going to pull those out. Then we can actually pull the flare away from the car. We'll just use a screwdriver for that. To get those clips out, you need a tool like this. The first thing we want to do is we put our tool behind the fender and we pry it out a little bit. That will loosen our clip. And we slide our tool in underneath and pop the clip out. Got the clips out, and then we started pulling off the fender flare. Just held on with clips at this point. Alright. We're going to get this cleaned up here. Now we've got to attach the hardware, it's cosmetic hardware, onto these fender flares. And we've got to put this weather stripping on there as well. Alright, let's see here. We're going to put a washer here, and the torque screw is going to go there. And then on the other side, we're going to install one of these locking nuts. And they give you this T45, which you need for the screws, and then you're also going to need a 1/2-inch wrench. You can hold the back and tighten this down. Okay, now we're going to install this weather stripping type stuff along the outer edge here. Now we're putting on the adhesive, peel this back a few inches, get it seated. This is kind of time consuming. So right here there's a 7/32 screw. We're going to take that out. They give us these new push pins, and we are going to use these to attach the fender to the truck. And as far as I know, that is all that attaches the fender to this truck. Let's see how this goes. Well, I can't get the holes to line up. It's possible you'll need some help, because these things are tight. Is that right?
Push down.
These fender flares have bested me. I cannot get them to line up. They're on the cards tonight, so old one's back on. Welcome back, buddy. I recommend everyone take their fender flares off and give the truck body rather, a good scrubbing. It's important part of maintenance. It is the next morning. The fender flare is on, so that's pretty exciting. So I had this idea, and I started thinking maybe this rubber seal was what was in the way. So I couldn't push the fender up enough to get those clips in. And so I just wet this down. I wet the body down so the rubber would slide a bit. And then I was able to shove those retaining clips into that wheel well area. Some of the clips don't sit quite right. This one's a good example. It's kind of in diagonally. So it's got this 1/4-inch lip behind it. Not an intuitive design. I'm a little worried about how they attach, a little worried about the fit. So here is my plan. I'm just going to drive around with this one fender flare on for the next week or so and see how it does. I want to see if it slips down at all or causes any kind of problems or there's any rubbing. And if I can get it to work, then I'll put them all on. I'll reseat this one a little bit better, that is where we're at with the Bushwacker fender flare installation. Time passes. Okay, so we've had these on for a while now. We've been driving around, and I think they look fantastic, especially compared to the stock ones. And they've stayed in place really well, and haven't had any issues. The rubbing is really minimal. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and put the rest of them on and go from there. So there's two 7/32 screws over here in the rear fender, and you want to get those out. Before you pop the fender out, there's one more 7/32 bolt you have to take out down here at the base. Once your bolt is out, the best place to start pulling your fender off is from the base. That's both on the front and the back. You're just going to grab it and give it a tug. That'll pop those clips out. So the back clips look like this. They're blue, and they just sit in the fender flare like that. And you can just pull them out. Just pull them straight back, and they shouldn't break. Just put that over the edge and then pull your adhesive down as you go. Okay, we've got our rubber seal installed all the way around. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Once it's on the truck, we're going to use this tool to smooth it out a little bit and make sure it's sitting in the right place. Make sure this is wet so that rubber seal can slide a little bit. So we've got the fender flare situated here on the truck, and I recommend starting to push the clips in with the one right about here. With the rubber seal on, it's not going to line up quite right, but we're going to fix it. So we push our pin in, and it's going to go in a little bit crooked. I'm going to put my tool in up here, I'm going to slide it around, and what we're going to do is we're going to run this tool around, and we're going to keep pulling that trim out so we can slide the fender up closer to the body of the truck. And we're going to keep pushing in our little retaining clips. Yes, we got it done. It's on. One more to go at this point. So there's actually some paint damage from the original fender. It's chipped the paint off around here. And it's not just here, it goes quite a ways around. The Bushwacker pocket style fender flares are done. Really, really like how they look. I like them so much, I'll even give them a little window love. They sent this sticker, so I will put that on for a while. With the offset of my wheels, these wider fenders are just about right. So, totally digging how those look. Couldn't get these to fit perfectly. Some of those push pins are not in quite right, but the fenders are really sturdy. I don't think you'd have to worry about them coming off, blowing off, getting knocked off. They're really on there. I think in the beginning of this video I said I wasn't digging the fender material as much, or the color, but I've revised my opinion. I actually think they look a lot better in solid black with the truck colors. That concludes my installation of these Bushwacker fender flares, and that's going to do it for this time, so we'll see you later.